Alright, well, crap. That seems to be looking a lot better. We're back, baby. Yes, indeed. Losing my voice a little bit today. Okay, so I don't know if that's the computer or if that's the modem. It seems to... I mean, I had to reset the modem to get the better results, so I guess it might be the modem router. I don't know. What am I going to do? Oh yeah, I'm going to paint this thing. That's what we're going to start with. At least put a first coat on it. Now really, I should have painted it and then glued some of these 3D printed parts on here because I'm not going to want to paint those, but we'll see. See how it turns out. Second time's the charm. Yeah, we'll see, Eldor. We'll see. Well, aside from our technical difficulties, how's everyone doing tonight? Everyone chilling? Doing any projects? Any of that stuff? I know I've been seeing a lot of people over at San Diego Comic-Con right now. If you're highfalutin like that. My Buddy's Customs. Hey, buddy. How you doing, man? How you doing, buddy? I'm making a soft goods cloak for my Masters of the Universe Lady Slither figure. Oh, very cool. Very cool, bud. I've never done any soft goods stuff at all, but that's it definitely adds a lot to the look. I just never messed with it. What kind of material are you using? Just like some fabric and a wire, or something a little more funky? I mean, I imagine you can use pretty much any kind of cloth or fabric or leather or anything, really, I guess. Spandex fabric. Okay, cool. TAR making sets for stop motion. That's a big shocker right there, TK, that you would be doing that. Very cool. Very cool, guys. This week I've been playing with my new 3D printer that is pretty freaking sweet. Pretty freaking sweet. I mean, the difference between that one and my old one is night and day, and still kind of getting the hang of it and what I can do with it. But yeah, that's been really cool. It was a little frustrating at first because had to do some setup that is pretty easy, but it's just me being a bonehead. Didn't know my Wi-Fi password. Fat Red is back. What's up? Making soft goods. A loincloth. Cool. Very, very cool. That's probably like a starter soft goods project right there. Not a lot of ground to cover, or so to say. A loincloth is making me think like some barbarian furs. Do they have any figures like that with like actual little fur bits on them? Because that'd be pretty cool. Like a fur padded cloak around the shoulders and the collar. How you doing, Briscoe? Briscoe. Ed is awake tonight. Ed, you all right, Ed? You been drinking, Ed? Is that what's going on? You had a couple of beers, or are you just in a good mood or something, man? Usually, I mean, Ed's here all the time, but Ed's usually a little subdued, and he seems like he's a little fired up tonight. The stream is good now. Yes, Thor. It seems we've managed to kick the current family of gremlins out that was living in there, but I'm sure there'll be another grouping back next week. Random, you keep calling me TK. Yeah, I'm getting everyone mixed up, TAR. Oh, you were a guest on a stream this evening. I'm good, my man. Feeling good. Right on. What's going on? Yeah, TAR, honestly, I could have sworn you were TK that changed his name, but don't mind me. I see you in here all the time. We had someone change the name. I couldn't remember what they changed their name to. And you showed up right around the same time, like talking, so. Where are we at? Mention you random. Oh, got a shout out. Oh, very cool. Yeah, man, I can't even keep track of what my name is half the time. What was it? What kind of stream was it, Fat Red? Michael Dumas with the 3 months channel member. Wow, thank you, Michael. Hello, everybody. How goes? It's going pretty good right now. Going pretty good right now. It was a little touch and go earlier, but not too bad right now. Really, really playing with that 3D printer, though. So many cool features. Yeah, exactly, Ed. The TK did a bunch of stop motion stuff too, so that's kind of what got me confused on it. Hey, Ted Darklaw. How you doing, Ted? This is Ted's like lullaby on Friday nights. He puts this on when he has problems going to bed. Eduardo, what's up, Eduardo? From Brazil, I presume. Eduardo leaves Brazil sometimes. He comes to the U.S. I know he travels around a little bit every so often. But he doesn't usually jump on the stream when he's not in Brazil because he's too busy hunting down Dr. Peppers. So I guess he doesn't really have time, I understand. Mike D from the Beastie Boys. All right. Let that chill for a moment. Ed must be in his cups. He might be. He might be. He didn't say he was, but he didn't say he wasn't either when I asked him, so he neither confirmed nor denied those allegations. So I was really happy with this little simple stripe. I think that added a lot to this. Really made me want to do some more panels. And maybe when we get the tower that this is going on done, maybe we'll do something like that. But I think we're going to do the tower now, probably, because I don't really have anything else lined up to do. Oh, not related to this, but I was playing around in Tinkercad, and I think I showed you guys this little, and I felt like this was kind of a failed experiment. Not too bad, but you can see how the buttons are not very well defined. And you can see the texture on the back of this one. Well, this is the one off the new printer. I printed it a little bit bigger, and you got some more definition in the buttons, so that's a little bit nicer. I also really like, and this is just on the back, so it doesn't matter for this particular print, I really like the texturing on the print surface on the back there. So when I'm printing things, I might design them to have this facing forward, because that's really kind of a cool, nice finished look. You don't get any of the layer lines because it melts into the print bed, so you don't see any of the layer lines that you would normally see. Also, just on a whim, because of some other stuff I was looking at, and this is very rudimentary, but real quick in Tinkercad, I made a little set of legs with pegs for the beginnings of some kind of, you know, figure thing. Maybe a little robot dude or something. But I'm realizing now that these 3D printers are accurate enough, and Tinkercad is pretty good. It's actually pretty good now. It's way better. It used to kind of suck, but it's pretty decent now. Raise this mic up a little. Let's see. The surface will help with glue adhesion too. Yeah, it would, for sure. No, bro. Gotta watch this random stuff, guys. All kinds of random stuff. Michael, how long did that take to print? I mean, it really varies on what we're talking about. So this original one I did was on my Ender, and it probably took an hour and a half, maybe. Now this one, it is probably about twice the amount of filament, even though it's not twice the size, but you know, it gets exponentially larger. It's probably twice the volume. 30 minutes, maybe. I mean, the new printer I got is fast. It is super fast. It just blows the other thing out of the water. I mean, it's like ridiculous. Of course, my Ender 3 is 6 years old, and it was awesome at the time, but apparently they have made quite a few advances since then. I mean, it's Wi-Fi, no SD card. You can control it from your phone. They got nice software on the computer. It's just crazy. It's got a time-lapse camera on it. The stupid thing caught a picture of me in my boxer shorts, and it was like pointed right at my my region. So I'm looking at the features on the phone, and I'm like, oh, time lapse. What the hell is that? And there's like a picture of me like standing there in my boxers. So that was kind of funny. Daredevil Dave, what's up, Daredevil Dave? Triple D. Yeah, man, 3D printing. Been doing it for a long time, but like I said, I haven't upgraded printers in a very long time. Such better ease of use, and it just calibrates itself and does all this stuff that you had to learn how to do with the Ender 3. So I'm glad I know how to do that stuff, but I'm really glad that I don't have to do it all the time as well. The devil machine, the computer. Yeah, you're not wrong, Briscoe. You are not wrong. It's definitely a little creepy, but wow, is it it's pretty wild. Clay Revis, what are you making tonight? So we started painting on this turret that we made on a previous stream, but we just painted that, letting that dry, and I'm probably gonna make a tower similar to this but larger for it to go on. And then after that, don't really know. So all right, let's do a couple of quick measurements here. Alright, we're going to go over to the Hotwire cam for a little bit and play around. Clay, you know, this is kind of like an in-between scale, but it works with 1/12 and it also would work with 1/18, I would say. You could see old Cobra Commander here standing next to the wall. And then right next to it, you got the turret. So you know, there's no visible spot where a human goes, so you can kind of, you know, it's sci-fi. Is it a remote control automatic turret? Is there someone sitting in it? You know, if there is someone sitting in it, it would have to be a much smaller scale. But it's passable. All right, over to the hot wire cam. Alrighty. Let's see what the chat is saying. "30 states, right on." Eduardo. Troy Dodson, how you doing, Troy? Stream is great on my end. Okay. Yeah, no, it's doing pretty good over here now, Troy, but it was pretty shaky earlier today. We got relaxing. Good. Glad you like that. I would make the front block angle all the way from the top to the bottom. That would be very difficult, Ed, with this setup I have right now. You can't get that shallow of an angle very easily. I would have to undo the wire and slide it all the way over, and I might be able to get it to a point, but I doubt I'd be able to get it all the way down. I might be able to get like that much of it. Action Joe Figs, good evening, everyone. How you doing, Action Joe Figs? Thanks for coming by. Okay. I'm gonna glue this shit together. That's what I'm gonna do. Yep, and glue it together. And if it's a little uneven later, we'll just sand it down. I was thinking about taking these corners off, Ed. I was thinking about that, but I might try to do that by hand, although I might completely mess it up. There we go, all messed up. Throw some of that in there. Let's see. Yeah, I know much have a pain. Yeah, the angles can be tricky, Ed, because as soon as you mess up, the whole piece is worthless. Or not worthless, but you got to start with a new hunk of foam if you're trying to get that look. Yeah, I get this foam at Home Depot. But it depends on your region. Some regions, they don't have the 2-inch. In some areas, you could find it easy. Oh, made my first real thing with foam this past week. Very cool, Action Joe Figs. Have a new backdrop for my videos. Very cool. What was it that you made, as Ed is asking? Yeah, we know, Briscoe. We know. A wall with a door and trim and war damage exposed bricks on a concrete wall. Okay, very cool. Yeah, the wall with the bricks peeking through. Always that's a cool look. I like that. the orange store and it's only 1 inch. Yeah, the 1 inch is the regular you can find everywhere, but sometimes we have the 1/2 inch and sometimes we have the 2 inch. And when I see it, I just snap up a couple of sheets and throw them in the garage so I have some for projects. Although 1 sheet is usually quite a bit. A jetpack for your 12-inch G.I. Joes. Shouldn't be too hard for 12-inch G.I. Joes. It's a lot easier to work in that scale than the smaller scale. Random Eduardo says, random, last week I couldn't watch the live because I was full-time in a case where my client discovered his children. Yeah, wow. That is a very complicated situation, and I'm willing to bet a lot more common than we actually know because we just don't really check that too often unless in extenuating circumstances like you're dealing with. Alright, I'm not going to do that now. I need to leave this to dry. Maybe I'll pin it. Yeah, you could do basically everything you can do with the 1 inch, you can do with the 2 inch. It just depends on your, or vice versa. It just depends on the glue also. If you're trying to do, you know, terrain and stuff, it's nice to have the 2 inch because it's just less layers and you don't have to deal with as much glue. And the dimensionality, it's already set, good to go. So it's nice. It's just nice to have a variety if you can manage it. But the 1 inch, you could pretty much get by with that, no problem. I do like the turbo glue. It's good for the stream. Over here for a minute. How do you like the well, I love tacky glue. I've used it for a long time, but only recently I've been using the turbo tacky glue. Fat Red was using it, and works pretty good. There are some things that I think the turbo tacky glue is like a little bit more watered. It's a little bit more fluid, I would say. The original one is more like a little bit thicker, which is weird because the turbo does dry faster. But it's all good. Good stuff. Much improved over just like normal Elmer's or something like that. Gorilla Glue is cool. Yeah, any white glue will work for you, man. Truthfully, all this glue has a little bit of a hard time drying inside foam because there's not a lot of air that gets in there. But yeah, I didn't do the pin comment today, Fat Red. But yeah. But I can. I guess I can. So Fat Red is alluding to, sometimes I throw the link up for channel membership. So if you want to join and support the channel, I'll give you absolutely nothing. But you will be buying me paint and snacks, which is nice. I mean, it's a nice gesture anyway. I don't know, man. I'm not a good salesman. Which is why I have stuff that I never sell, because I just don't really like selling stuff that much. Where are we at? YouTube Studio. Where's the blasted link? Go on now, boy. What's to feel the back of my hand? Where is he? There we go. Hawk your wares, Radnum. Yeah. I'll work on it one of these days. Alright, so there's the link if you're on a mobile phone and you can't hit the normal join button. I appreciate anyone who joins and supports. We do have emojis. Maybe I'll figure out something eventually additional to do for channel members. I've made a couple of community posts, but barely. I barely have my pants on. So doing extra stuff, I don't know. Maybe we'll get to it at some point. Thank you, Fat Red. I appreciate it. Love you, always have. Thank you, Briscoe. More red paint. That's what we're going to do. More red paint. Does anybody in here have a 3D printer? I can't remember. That was a Braveheart. That was a Braveheart. Oh, I love you. Love you. Always have. Yeah, okay, okay. I want you to marry me. I remember that now. I'm your uncle, Argyle. I need to watch Braveheart again now. Although, obviously, I have watched it quite a number of times. Yeah, it was really good. Really good movie. Boxers. Dio's in my boxers. Yeah, I don't know. Ed, I'm kind of worried about the types of customers. If I even got customers, I'd be kind of worried about the types of customers I would get on that. I'm just saying. The extended cut. A 3D quill, which I could hand print on scrolls with. Yeah, I don't know if that's quite the same thing, Eldor. I do have a 3D print pen that I've never freaking used. It's all about the Benjamins, Radnom. I don't know if it is. I've never been good at that, honestly. Like, there's lots of jobs I could have that would have been, if that's what you're talking to and not saying another movie quote. You know, like, I'm pretty good at explaining things. I used to be into passive investing, kind of, so I thought about mutual funds. Someone said I should sell, go and work with them selling insurance policies and stuff like that. But the thing about all that stuff is when you sell someone something, the worse the product is for the customer, the better the commission you get as the salesman. So it's almost always that way. So you end up being skewed towards wanting to sell the products that are actually less beneficial for the customer. And I just don't like that. I don't know. I mean, you gotta eat, I get it, but obviously this is not the same thing. I'm making stuff with my hands, and I'm not being disingenuous about what I'm doing. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of not... That analogy ain't working so good now that I'm thinking about it. We'll promote you, no worries. That sounds awesome. Since I'm in the market for one, a used one to just play around with. Action Joe Figs. I'm assuming you're talking a 3D printer. Briscoe, yeah, usually. Fat Red Foo, I have a pretty minimalist philosophy on spending money, unless it's utilitarian. Like, I have no problem buying tools, as you might have noticed, tools to make stuff with. But I don't like, when I was younger, I used to buy tons of DVDs and tons of video games and stuff like that. But I'm pretty minimalist on the stuff I buy, which is very strange to be in this space with the all the foaming at the mouth plastic junkies. So, I'll buy something if I think it's cool, or it's a nice piece of art, or pretty, or something like that. Especially I like some figures I just find really, really nice, and if I had the money, I would, although I usually don't have the money. That may change in the future, but as for right now, living expenses have been crazy, dude. Absolutely crazy. Money that's made, though, from the hobby or any of my channels or anything like that, I have absolutely no problem taking that and buying, another 3D printer or a new computer if the stream needs one, or something like that, if there's enough money. Because it's generating something, so you gotta feed the baby. Tools to make tools, exactly. What kind of paint am I using? Yeah, no, I didn't mention it. It's just cheap craft paint. This one's folk art, cardinal red, but it's always like folk art, apple barrel, craft smart. Is it smart or mark? No, craft smart. Americana. Yeah, there's a bunch of them, but they're all reasonably priced. The majority of them are I think these are 50-something cents or 58 cents, but they go up to, when you get to the fancier ones, maybe $4 or $5. but they're usually around $1 in that range. Straight to the foam, man. Foam is super porous, so you don't really have to do prep on foam. You just got to shape it. I maybe said foaming hit the mouth, plastic junkie, right? Look, it's cool. People have all kinds of stuff they spend money on. I think it's just another thing, you know? Some people spend all their money on sports. Some people spend all their money on their car. Some people like nostalgia and want to collect figures. I mean, some of it reminds them of a simpler time. I get it. It's cool. Any of that is fine. The tendency for people in everything, including arts and craft supplies, especially arts and craft supplies, is to start spending out of your means. Very easy to do. We have credit cards for everything, and you just gotta watch it. That's all. And I think with toys and figures especially, you get the FOMO, dude. People just, you gotta buy it now, or you might not ever be able to get it again. Or if you can get it again, you might be paying like 3 or 4 times the amount. So that FOMO hits people pretty hard in this space. But I do like what I've seen over the last few years. The more of the streamer community, people like making friends with each other, everyone's meeting up at conventions and stuff. All that stuff is really, really good and a lot healthier, I think, than just any kind of straight up collecting hobby. Just like everyone, pretty much everyone you see on even small streams on YouTube, they're all doing productive stuff in addition to the hobby. They're making videos, they're talking about the nostalgia, they're doing like buddies doing customs right there. All that is, it's like, yin and yang, kind of balancing it out a little bit. But, it's just my take on things, my opinion. For whatever it's worth or not worth. Pissing in the creek. Yeah, agreeablies are mostly free. If y'all have a recommendation on which 3D printer to stay away from, please let me know. What's your price range, Action Joe Figs? Almost finished my customized Deadpool. I refuse to pay these outrageous aftermarket prices I looked up and found in Marvel Legends Wolverine. But finding a Deadpool is impossible unless you pay big bucks. Yeah, Thor, some of the aftermarket prices are ridiculous. I'm looking at the Creality Ender types, but not sure. So I had a Creality Ender 3. It's actually right there. You can't see it. Used it for like 6 years, and I had some stuff break, but everything on that machine, and I know the newer ones are different, was totally manual. You had to manually level the bed, you had to load a SD card and put it in there. You'll learn everything about 3D printing. So you learn how to replace the hot end, because it will need replacing after a while, a couple of years. Learned how to replace the extruder and all, like how the function, all the pieces work together. The slicer is pretty good. You use the Cura slicer for that. But the newer ones are... I haven't used a modern Creality, so I don't know. But I did get a Bamboo, a small one. And it is just worlds apart on ease of use and overall performance. But 6 years is a long time in tech. Yeah, Clay. I mean, if you just want something to just start with and you don't want to spend a lot of money, you can get like an Ender 3 on sale for $100 sometimes, and it's a solid machine. But there's gonna be a steeper learning curve than if you bought something like, one of the modern, like a Bamboo A1 Mini, or I'm not even sure what the modern ones are. I'm sure there's a modern version of the Creality. I know I see a lot of the bigger ones with the Creality. I don't know if they have I think they had an Ender 3 version 2, but I never used that one. Guys, please, where in the US can I find those small geometric shape pieces that you use for control panels? Eduardo, are you talking about all these buttons? Is that what you're talking about? Specifically? Or something similar or different, or... The one that comes with Rome and the dog. And that's another thing. I think Briscoe buys some higher end stuff. If I had the money and the space, I don't have space. It'll come. I would probably buy high end stuff if I could. Like some of that stuff is just amazing looking, like the Hot Toys and all that. I think I would like. I've seen some setups with the nice lighted displays, and yes, you don't get as many. Like some of the Jurassic Park stuff looks crazy good too. All right, we're just gonna. We're just gonna glue that on in there. But yeah, I've definitely had phases where I had to stop going to Michael's because it was just... I just want everything in there. Just want everything. Is Thor saying goodnight already? Anyways, good night, random, all you wonderful folks in chat. All right, take it easy, Thor. You have a good night. Thanks for coming by and hanging out with us. God of Thunder and Rock and Roll. Should I paint the bottom? Yeah, why not? We'll throw a coat on there. I think I don't know. I think I might do a little more detail on this. It would be cool to have the red stripe. I don't think it should go all the way up, but maybe to here at least. Let me see if I have a strip of foam like that. Yes, this panels. I'd wear my hat on live streams. Oh, so Eduardo, they're custom made. I don't know where to buy those things. I make them on a laser cutter. I have a laser cutter I cut all the little buttons out of. So maybe Ed has some ideas where you can get something similar, but I had a hard time finding anything that was going to be anywhere near like that small and consistent. A lot of them are rounded. I think they have some like jewel looking things that kind of work, but not as well. That's what I need next, a foam cutter. Yeah, the hot wire foam cutters are definitely super, super useful. Those types of little pieces are right. Yeah, that's why I make them, Ed. Now, Eduardo, I don't know if you remember, but before I had the laser cutter, I was making them out of clay. And let me see if I got the stuff here. So this one, which is by far the most epic one I've made, freaking huge center console jobby. None of those buttons are wood. They're all clay and they're all done pretty much by hand. So, and I don't know if you remember this or not, Eduardo, but I got Sculpey clay, which you heat in a toaster oven. Or your oven, you know, depending. You got to learn how to do that. It's pretty easy. You just got to figure out what the temperatures are on your oven. And I think, yeah, these are this one. So you see that? That's a little punch that you can press down in the clay. And then you take something thin and push it out and try not to malform it too much. And then you get those on a sheet and you cook them. And these punches come in different sizes. And you can order, I don't know in Brazil, but in America, you can order a set like these for nothing. I mean, it's like not even $3 or $4 or not even that. I don't even remember. It was very cheap. And so, yeah, that allowed me to do all these buttons by hand. These are foam right here. You can probably see that. And this is clay that I just rolled out and then scored with a knife. So you can tell these keyboards are not as precise as the ones that are laser cut, but the circles that are all punched, man, they look good. They got a little more bulge to them, but they look good. Came out totally fine. You can kind of tell when you hold them side by side that this one is a little bit more precision than this one, but honestly, yeah, these are totally passable. So little bits of clay, Eduardo. If you can't, you know, that's pretty reasonable. How you doing, Bill? Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures. What's up? Zombie Boy Fiend. So, the hot wire cutter. That hot wire cutter. That's a Proxxon thermocut hot wire table. Super wonderful. Yeah, the handheld one is, you can't cut a straight line, Clay. That's not you. That's just how they are. You need a table to hold it against. I mean, it's just like, you know, with a saw. If you have a jigsaw, the line's not going to be straight. If you have a table saw, straight line. Unless you get kickback and almost, you know, launch it at you. Random secrets, right on. Doing good, just finished a live stream. Awesome, Bill. Yeah, we'll be going for a little bit longer, not too much longer. Usually wrap it up around 1. Okay, we'll put that over here. Yeah, 140. Ed, have you ever come across my video on Amazon? I have 2 videos on that Proxxon hot wire listing. One of them I actually even show my face in. But the older one, it's just showing off some diorama stuff and crates and things I made. Go till 6 a.m. this time, random, live a little. Briscoe, I don't know if you know, but Oz is going to be doing his Clubhouse stream all day tomorrow from 6 a.m. till 6 a.m. the following day. But I don't think I'm going to be able to stay up until 6 in the morning. I don't know about all that. But if you need to get your fix for psychotically long live streams, Briscoe, tomorrow, Oz's Clubhouse, he's going to be trying to do that 24 hours. And Ed will be there trying not to die. With or without the beard. I'm guilty of never reading reviews or watching videos on Amazon. Right on, Ed. Yeah, the foam is like a good base for all that stuff, obviously. You could use cardboard. I mean, you could make it work. Yeah, don't worry about it, Clay. Like Ed just said, you just got to keep going. Just do something a little bit. A lot of this stuff is not that hard. You just get moving. So Stargate people, Ed, Fat Red. I've been looking at some of the 3D prints that are available for Stargate, and oh my god, there are some absolutely insane ones. Some guy has modeled all of these huge, I don't even think I can do it on my printer because it's too small. Some parts. They got the puddle jumper. They got Apophis' pyramid ship. Like the whole thing, but it's freaking huge. And then they have Atlantis, the entire city of Atlantis. It's like bigger than a coffee table, like a kitchen table. Just all the different ships. Some guy has just gone absolutely insane making all this stuff. And all the files are available for download. It would take an extremely long time to print out, obviously. But wow, is that tempting. I don't know, I might try to print out an actual Stargate, or the puddle jumper. Puddle jumper was looking pretty cool. And they're big. It's not small stuff. Oh, dude, you're going to want it, Ed. I'll send you some pictures. I couldn't believe what I was looking at. I was looking at it, and one of the guys in the comments to the dude that was doing the files said, I love your work, but my wife is going to divorce me if I print out one more of your of your creations. Because, yeah, the freaking Hatak, the pyramid ship, he's got like the basic one that's like that big. But then the Apophis with all it's just ridiculous. It's big enough and has an opening that you can park the transportation shuttles in. He's got those things too, so you can park those in there, whatever, Keltok, or I don't remember what they're called. But dude, oh man, it's wild. "3D printing a USS flag." Yeah, I believe it. Zombie Boy. And you can totally do that now. Totally do that. So with my old printer, I would see people doing that. And I was just thinking like, man, what are they doing? They must be spending like hundreds and hundreds of hours, if not longer, printing some of this stuff. But now with the new printer, I realize that, it's 5 or 6 times faster. He already knows, FU. Yeah, I'm sure he's has something to say about that. I don't know. Larry's okay with 3D printed stuff, so I don't know how he would be about that. He might be gatekeeping the flag, though. I could see him doing that. Yeah, Ed, when I send you the picture of this Atlantis, you're going to freaking not even believe what you're looking at. It's quite literally unbelievable. Let me see. All right. I need to get to where I can share things on screen, but I'm Stone Age Caveman. I did send that to you, Ed, and Fat Red, if you want to check your Instagram. You're gonna trip on that. It is absolutely outrageous. Oh, I did it before you even asked. Could you share the Stargate with me also, Radnum? Yeah, I did, dude. I did. Right? The flag is 12 feet long, Zombie Boy? That's crazy. That's almost... I mean, the original is like 7.5 feet. Make the flag out of foam. Briscoe, I've actually thought about making the flag out of foam. I just don't have room to do a project that big. Or do I? I have a 6-foot table. I don't know. Started to make a helicarrier the same size as the flag, Clay. Yeah, that's cool. For sure. I thought about that too, actually. When I was thinking about a flag, I was thinking, Avengers style helicarrier would be pretty cool. Could put a Stargate inside it, right? Martin, yeah, I'll check that out. I actually found those on the file marketplace for my 3D printer. It's part of the built-in software. And I was just browsing through and I typed in Stargate. And I was like, I wonder what comes up when I type in Stargate. And I saw that and I was like, there ain't no freaking way, dude. It's just wild. Yeah, no, that wasn't IG. I thought you found his IG. Poor listener. Yeah, no worries. Where's Ed? Ed, are you back in here? Or are you still looking at that Stargate picture? Poor, yeah, that's for sure, man. It's late. Ed, do you know how much time it would take to print all that crap, dude? You would need to have, like, a printer farm, and it would still take days. If you had 4 or 5 really fast printers, it would still take quite a bit of time. And some of those things I was looking at, I want to say, like, the Pyramid ship or something, it was, like, 2.5 spools. So it's like 2.5 kilos of plastic, and that's just one thing. So that stuff is major print time. The puddle jumper was, I think, 500 or 700 grams. So yeah, that might be a good place to start if I was going to do that. I was looking for a good Stargate, but I didn't kind of like some of the models they had. Or some of them, they weren't set up to run on my printer, so I'd have to set them up for that. Because, like I said, I got the really small one, so the print bed is very small. I just finished wiping the jewelry. Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous, right? I couldn't believe it when I saw it. And for some things, you know, 3D printing is superior. Obviously, injection molded is way better for durability and being able to do a lot of. But there's no toy company that is going to make that. None. I mean, that is just ridiculous. You know, what would the cost of something like that be for, it'd be like $3,000 probably. It'd be, you know, insane. MDF. Look, MDF is good. It's got its uses, but yeah, when you're getting with bigger stuff, foam is just easier. Foam's also easier to work with than MDF. Takes texture. You don't have to worry about the nasty formaldehyde sawdust. MDF flakes when you paint it too. You gotta, I don't know what you do with it, but I'm assuming you have to, I don't know if you prime it. Wood takes paint pretty good. I don't think you have to prime it, but you definitely have to seal it. Yeah, it's heavy. No, Eduardo, that doesn't cause controversy with me. I think there's some truth to that, for sure. I think if you get into the 3D design, it might not as much, especially if you're using it to complement what you're doing. I do think because the computer makes it so easy to just replicate over and over and over again what you've done before, that you aren't forced to solve problems as much sometimes on some things, so you might get a little lazy, like you're saying. And some people just won't bother to even learn how to make anything because they just have someone else's models, which is fine, but it becomes more of like a micro manufacturing hobby than a creative hobby. That's actually looking kind of not too bad. Wasn't sure how that was going to come out, but pretty cool. But I mean, Eduardo, I've used 3D printed parts for a while now as parts. Like this is 3D printed. This piece in the back is 3D printed. The rest of it was put together by hand. But I do get what you're saying. I've heard people talking about when they go to conventions, like you just see 3D printed stuff everywhere, and it's like the same stuff. They're all doing, like the little dragons and stuff. People sign up to people's Patreons. They get the files. They have basically a commercial license that they allow you to use it, and sell their designs, and people just print them and sell them. And I'm okay with that. I think that's good, actually. I'd rather Joe Blow from Kokomo is making it in his basement in Wisconsin than it's being made in a giant factory in China and then shipped over here. I like the idea of people selling things that are made close to home. But as far as like the individual and creativity, yeah, I think it's a different hobby. It's just a different hobby. They can tie in together, obviously. That picture I sent Ed, though, in Fat Red, like to build a diorama like that would take you a year or more. I mean, I don't know. It was very detailed. Briscoe says, is there any legal stuff with 3D printing? Like if I buy a file and then give it to you, are you allowed to print it, or how does something like that work? There are different licenses, and you have to read the license that you're agreeing to when you buy the file. So some of them are, like once you have a file, you can print out as many as you like, and you can give them away. And I don't think there's anything against the law with that. But selling it to someone, you need a specific license for that. And most of the time they give you permission to sell, but they don't give you permission to sell the file. So you can give someone a print that you made, usually with like, I think that's the, I don't know, creative commercial. There's all these different license types, but that's pretty common where you're allowed to sell the print but not the file. But you got to read it when you buy it. Some you can't sell at all. Like a lot of the stuff on Makerspace, you're not allowed to sell. My 3D printer can do 10 prints at a time. Hey, I know Joe Blow in his mother's basement in Wisconsin, right? We all know Joe. I guess we'll go ahead and do a... Yeah, we'll do a first coat on it. Why not? Briscoe, not always. Most of the people that sell files don't actually sell physical prints because the people selling files are designers. And designers like to spend their time designing, not printing. Sometimes those are the same people, but oftentimes they're not. But I would say almost always the absolute best designers don't do printing and shipping and all that. Because as soon as you start selling things, you get caught up in the shipping and handling and customer service and all this kind of stuff that makes you a retail operation, which is fine if that's what you want to do. But if you want to have time to spend to be creative and spend 100 hours designing a detailed dragon, you're going to need help pretty quickly to do all that stuff. And generally, those aren't the same type of people. Sometimes they are, but lots of times, the more designery, artsy type people are not going to want to be doing that kind of hustling stuff. I mean, maybe some do, but there's a separation there sometimes. But I would say some of the best files usually you can get from Patreon. You sign up for a designer's Patreon. There's one person that does dragons. I think it's Cinder Wing. I'm pretty sure that's it. And I want to say they're like $10 a month, and you can just download and print and sell their stuff. And they make many, many, many thousands of dollars a month from their Patreon. I haven't looked at that specific one, their numbers, but there are people that make tens of thousands of dollars a month on Patreon. And if you have goods like something like that, an STL you're offering every month, people will just sign up for that like gangbusters. So that's really one of the best uses, I think, for something like Patreon. Yeah. So for minis, usually people use resin printers, and I hate resin printers. I do have one, but I hate it. Now, these days, you can actually get decent results from an FDM printer if you have it set up right and you have a fine nozzle on it. But it's not going to be as smooth and sharp as resin print. This looks like... Check this out. Does this not look like a fortified outhouse? Like with a little fortified slot window on it? The most heavy-duty after the apocalypse outhouse in existence. A Dr. Pepper maker, yeah, he would definitely buy that. Right, exactly, Fat Red. That's good advice. Just get started. Just do something. But that could be said for almost anything. Yeah, Briscoe, you don't. That's my answer for that. You don't. Everything's online, man. Most of these companies don't even have product available in physical stores. I've never seen a Creality or a Bamboo or any of that stuff in an actual store. If you live somewhere near a major city like Los Angeles or maybe New York, maybe there's some kind of highfalutin we sell 3D printer stores, but I don't know. A Bamboo isn't even available on Amazon. You have to go on the Bamboo website to buy their printer. It's a dumper bunker, right? Yeah. They can be fat red. Some are loud, some are not. Just depends. Some of them have noise cancellation built in to kind of make the motors quieter. And the one I have now does, but it also has a calibration cycle where it vibrates like a lunatic and shakes everything. So, but then once it gets going, it's pretty quiet. My old one was louder, but not as violently shaking. And even the louder one, you know, it wasn't a terribly unpleasant noise for me. It just sounded like a, you know, a motor, stepper motor whirring in the background. I guess it might drive someone crazy if they're not happily expecting to get something off the 3D printer. Wow. Briscoe, what's the term limits for the Prime Minister in Canada? It's not the same as the U.S., is it? It's not 2 terms of 4 years? You like the yellow? Yeah, not too bad. Yellow and red always go together pretty good. Dr. Pepper, well, it's a seltzer, but close enough. Legend Series, what's up, Legend Series? Just hanging out, making some random stuff. What are you up to tonight? Wow, Ed, yeah, I fear mentioning any. Yeah, you shouldn't, Briscoe. You're not wrong about that. Not sure term limits. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna look that up. I feel like he's been around for quite some time. It's probably different than America. Oh, yeah. Briscoe, and his father, right? Wasn't his father prime minister at one point too? I should be using a bigger brush, but I'm not. No way, dude. No way. That is definitely not my jam. Maybe in a more sane world, Eduardo, local politics might be somewhat interesting as you get older. But the world we're in right now... Nope, nope, nope. Five-year terms, unlimited terms. Okay, that seems what it seems like, Fat Red Foo. I was thinking that that was something like that, which is wild. That's wild. Wow, 15 years was the record. Okay, that's pretty wild. Yeah, I don't know, Ed. I mean, Canada has its own military and everything. I know there are some smaller island colonies that are still considered like English protectorate, but I don't know. I haven't looked at any of that stuff in a long time. Patrick only knows what Google told him, Briscoe. Alright, guys. I know we started a little late because we had some technical difficulties, but it's 1:01. The stream's been going for 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 51 seconds, so we'll break 2 hours by the time I hit that stop button. What do you say? Briscoe was saying... Okay, I don't even want to talk about that, Briscoe. But, you can talk about whatever. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Now, I mentioned earlier, Oz over on his stream is going to be having that 24-hour stream tomorrow starting at 6 a.m. going all day. I haven't talked to him about it, but I'm sure I'll probably pop on there at some point during the day. I have a feeling he's going to have plenty of time frames that are open. And potentially some of the people that come on later at night might already be exhausted from being on there for some time. So probably be on there tomorrow. We'll see. But guys, everyone, have a fantastic weekend. Thanks for coming by and hanging out, and hope to see you again soon. Take care.